Well, good evening and welcome to another exciting episode of Porch Talk. I, of course, am Paul W. Marino. My partner here this evening is Tim Zalazzo. And we have an empty chair here because we were hoping Ed might show up tonight, which he told me that he would. So if he comes in late, he is more than welcome to join us. And if he doesn't come, we hate him. No, actually, we still love Ed very much. And so we hope he can make it. And if he can't, well, at least he's home taking care of himself. So, Tim.
Yeah.
What's new and exciting with you?
Well, what's new? That's a good question. I just read in the paper where they're moving the police station temporarily to the Berkshire Plaza.
Yep, I've heard that.
That's where the registry used to be?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and they had a court in there, which then they moved that to the former Sprague Research and Development Center, which belongs to MoCA.
Right.
But I think the movement of the police station to there will be permanent, or as permanent as things get.
Yeah, they said they had a lease for 2 years with the option for one more year.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have plans to? I know they were looking at another spot to build. You know.
I hadn't heard that, but the thing is, that space in the plaza already has cells in it.
Oh, because it was a juvenile?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. I wondered about that. Yeah, so that parking lot's always full. You know, that's a busy place. You've got a lot of.
Yeah, but they can make the parking right in front of the building exclusive to police business.
Okay. Yeah. No. A couple weeks ago we had that cold front. It was some people had 28 below up in Florida. I was at my son's house in Rowe. It was I went to start the car. I had my wife's car. And it was 18 below about 5 in the morning. 18 below Saturday morning. Ooh. So that moved out of here quick, which was good, because that was I haven't experienced cold air like that in a while, you know. But no, Paul, you know, I've been hearing people use the term. Well, actually, before I say anything, the craziest thing I've heard in the last week, okay. Mm-hmm. In Virginia, they tried to pass legislation that women would have to report their menstrual cycles to the police. What is going on with this country? What?
I don't know.
What's that all about? Do you have any idea?
We are going off the deep end.
Yeah, the governor vetoed it, okay? And I'm pretty sure it's Virginia, but the governor vetoed it. And then down in Mississippi, they're basically getting rid of the black Jackson, Mississippi. Mm-hmm. Is it Jacksonville or Jackson?
I think it's Jackson.
It's 80% black. They're not allowing them to elect their judges anymore and their prosecutors. They're going to appoint all white. The legislation says all white judges to oversee that city. So that was another interesting one. But I mean, the one about reporting the menstrual cycles to the police, and you know, I hear this term all the time, Paul, and I want to get your feedback on it. You know, socialist. You know, you're a socialist, socialism. You know, and I know what socialism is. You know, it's when the state owns everything, and basically everyone's pretty much treated equally. I mean, if you look at every town and city in the country, they're like a microcosm of a socialist entity. Yeah. Okay? The city and the taxpayers own the wastewater treatment plant. They own the drinking water facility.
Yeah.
We have police department, fire department, and they maintain our roads. So, I mean, in some ways you could say, well, that's socialism. They're providing a resource for the community. I mean, up in Florida, we have to have our own well. We have to have our own septic system. But, you know, we still have the roads plowed. And I'm just trying to understand.
You don't have police up there, do you?
No, the state police do. We've got a contract with them for, you know, their rate just went up a little more. But there are times where they can do some tours, but I'm just wondering why people are saying that, you know, we're socialist, or I shouldn't say we are socialist. I don't want to get. I know we can't get into politics, but you know, there's a group of people that are blaming the other people for being.
Well, politics is at the heart of it, because, well, you remember, and now, yeah, you weren't much more than a small child during the McCarthy hearings.
Right.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
But what was going on there was a small group of people who were dead set against communism.
Communism. Okay. Yeah.
And did not want to see communism in America, but nobody really understood what communism was at the time. You know, it's a political system that essentially is founded on socialism.
Correct.
And, you know, okay, one reason it's never really worked is because we've never had a true communist state.
In the world, or
In the world.
In the world, Stalin and Lenin and all.
Yeah,
no,
Stalin wanted to be czar, and he allowed Lenin and Trotsky to set up the government and the system.
The system, the government. That's
Yes,
basically what.
yeah. But even Lenin wasn't thinking of true socialism, because there was a woman here in America, very famous. So, of course, I can't remember her name. She and her husband came to America without really understanding how democracy worked. So they were gung-ho for socialism and communism. And when the Bolshevik Revolution started, they packed up and went to Russia and went and spoke to Lenin. Okay, now we have the opportunity to establish a true Marxist state. And Lenin said, hey, wait a minute, which suggests that Lenin wasn't interested in having a truly communist state.
Okay.
You know, one of the things that happened was this made a lot of sense to the intellectuals in the cities, but it did not make a lot of sense to the farmers out in the country. And farmers started killing their own livestock rather than let the government come in and take them away from them.
Oh, wow.
And Lenin sent in the army, which was led by Stalin, and they were very quickly put in their places. You know, you do not say no to the government. And of course, they became just another empire that went through the motions of communism, but never really allowed it to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this country, we're a capitalistic country. I mean, I get irked when I hear some of these Congress women and men complain about health. We want to give health care, we want to give this. The people in Congress, they've got probably the best benefits of anyone in the country.
That's right, okay. They do.
After 5 years of being in Congress, you get a full pension for the rest of your life. They get the best benefits going, okay? I'm just trying to really...
There was also the episode of TV Nation that Michael Moore did back in I think it was in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. It only lasted 3 seasons, you know, in the summer. TV Nation.
I don't remember that. I didn't
well,
know he did series like that, you know?
Yeah, well, he had this one story where the contract with America had just come out. No more special perks for Congress. So he took a camera crew and went to Washington.
I do remember that.
Yeah. And he went, there's a bank of like 20 elevators. There's one that's reserved for members of Congress. Rang for that elevator, and the elevator operator, can I help you? Yeah, I'd like to ride in this elevator. This is just for members of Congress. Contract with America says they wouldn't let him ride. So we went into the gym, this reserved for members of Congress, started shooting hoops. The guy came in, can I help you? Yeah, I just want to shoot a few hoops. This is just for members of Congress. Contract with America says they had to leave anyway. Then he went to the Bethesda Naval Hospital, where members of Congress and their families get treated free of charge. Can I get treated free here? Next thing you know, there are MPs swarming all over the place, and they're surrounded by MPs, and the hospital's head of PR comes down. Look, you're going to have to turn off the cameras. We'll go outside, and I'll talk to you there. Okay. They turn off the cameras, went outside, turned the cameras back on. Now, what's going on? Well, I just want to know if I can be treated free here. What's this all about? Contract with America says, which just goes to show the contract with America wasn't worth the paper it was printed on.
Yeah. Well,
now,
I mean,
the other thing
you got the foxes guarding the hen house. They make all their rules. All right. They control what they do. So it's not.
But it's not all socialism they want to get rid of. They want to keep socialism for the rich.
Well, I never looked at it that way.
Yeah, they want to be able to keep giving tax breaks to the rich just because they're rich. They want to be able to keep giving money to corporations that don't need it.
Well, the head of Home Depot and Walmart, they'd be screaming right now if they were watching this. Saying it's socialism. I mean, they just came out with a couple statements that really bashed Americans. I don't know. I don't know why you should even bring it up.
If you want to keep giving Social Security to the elderly and the disabled that are not rich, that's socialism. We can't have socialism here.
Yeah, well, that's a good example. Medicare, and Social Security.
Social Security. Yeah. And remember what they have been doing with the Social Security for decades. You know, they need to balance the budget. We'll take it out of Social Security. Look at all those millions sitting there.
Yep.
And the fact that that's reserved for something else doesn't matter. We'll take it out of there. We'll take more out of there. And now that it's down to virtually next to nothing, this isn't going to work. You know, we need to get rid of this.
Yeah, it's bankrupt. It's going bankrupt.
Yeah, because they keep taking money out of it.
Well, some people feel too that they want to go to more of a gambling 401 stock market type thing. And basically, some people feel that the only ones really benefiting are going to be the bankers with all their fees. Okay?
Yeah, they are.
No, that's interesting. With the
and don't forget, if you have a stockbroker, he makes money if you make money. If you lose money, he still makes money.
Yeah.
Where is the honesty in that? Why shouldn't he lose money when we lose money?
Well, because he'll tell you it's his fee or her fee to manage your funds. Okay. So you're not gonna win that one. So I mean, capitalism. This debate's been going on for capitalism versus socialism. Okay. And then the big downfall they say with socialism is that there's no incentive to work hard. Okay. Everyone's just basically treated the same. I've never held it against anybody for being successful. So we live. America is about as capitalist of a country as you can get. you know? And so,
Oh, yes.
yeah, I'm glad you brought up Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid. I don't, well, the State of the Union address, that kind of surfaced, and that was a pretty interesting ploy that the president used. But yeah.
Well, of course, if I was president, and
If you were president, yes. I want to hear this, Paul.
if I was president and I was giving a State of the Union address and someone started calling out, liar, liar,
Yeah.
I would stop the speech. Come down here. Come down here now. And if they won't come, have someone go and get them.
Okay, that-
Secret Service agents, bring them down.
Sergeant of Arms. A sergeant
Yeah.
of arms. Okay. Yeah. And
Here's a quarter. You go out into the lobby where there's a payphone, call your mother, and tell her that she should give you a backhanded smack across the face for not teaching you proper behavior. When you're listening to a speech, you keep your mouth shut.
Yeah.
Now, and when you come back in, you don't go back to your seat. You go stand in the corner.
yeah, well, that would be interesting.
And yeah, make the Secret Service people make him or her do it.
I mean, that is so unusual. That really started surfacing maybe 10 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I think it started with Obama. I think
Yes.
the first lie, you liar. I think the first belch
Yeah,
of lying.
you lie!
You know? Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Wow. Anyways, that's what I've been hearing this all the time lately, you know? We're a group of people in this country, a certain party is, they're just socialist.
Well, another thing, and I know this is never going to happen, but I think what we need for a while anyway is a beneficent dictatorship. Someone who will come in, get elected legally, and then start bringing people into Congress that you know are going to work for the people of the nation.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
like I'd bring Jon Stewart, I would ask Jon Stewart to serve in Congress and take some of these idiots that are willing to put the party ahead of the country and put them under arrest.
What they do, they have a cell down in the basement. I guess, I don't know if they probably haven't used it in 50 years, if they've ever
Yeah,
used
but
it.
I mean, this would be a mass arrest. Send these people to boot camp and have part of what they're doing there learning how to do their jobs properly.
Oh,
You know, you are not here to enrich yourself. You are not here to enrich your friends. You are here to serve the people of the country.
well, that's another...
And if the people of the country are opposed to having the religious right be in charge, then you are opposed to the religious right being in charge. Another thing, oh, nice. See, I had something else and you drove it out of my head. Thanks a lot.
jeez.
Arrest this man.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I lost what I was going to say, too.
Yeah, but, you know, oh, yes. The other thing we need to institute is if you are going to vote in any election, local or national, you need to pass the citizenship test.
Oh, that's a tough one. A
You
lot
know,
of people wouldn't
yeah.
ask that, Paul.
That's right.
That's what they...
if you become a naturalized citizen,
yeah.
you have to pass a written test demonstrating a working knowledge of American history and how the government works.
That would be
how the Constitution works. And the thing is, we expect our children to be taught this stuff in school, but of course they're not. And one reason for that is the standardized tests. And a lot of schools don't bother with curriculum, they teach the test. Because if you don't have enough kids who pass the test, you lose federal education money. So scrap that and make sure that everyone who graduates high school understands, can pass the citizenship test. And if they can't, they get into a remedial class to learn it.
That would be a nightmare.
Yeah,
That-
it would.
that would be a nightmare.
It would, but part of what would happen is the few people that can pass it would be the only ones voting. And people who want to vote are going to go out and learn that test. And once they can pass it, who knows, you may have Trump supporters who would come back thinking, hey, wait a minute. The way that Trump said to do things isn't constitutional. What am I doing supporting him?
Well, we do have, it's interesting. I thought we got rid of the monarch 400 years ago or so. We still have 6 kings and 4 queens. Okay, that's the Supreme Court and the president. Anyone in Massachusetts, and probably around the country, but just say Massachusetts, that is working for state, county, or local, let's just say local government, the little town I come from, 750 people. We have to do the conflict of interest law, open meeting law. If you get caught taking something over $50, you can get fined, all right? And I know that our founding fathers never thought that we'd get someone as POTUS that would take advantage of stuff, but I'm still baffled about the Supreme Court not having any ethics that they have to abide by.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and you know the dark money that's put into the Supreme Court?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, and I just can't, why? Well, I mean, when you go unscathed from anyone having a checks and balance, you're basically like a king or a queen, So
Oh, yeah.
that's another one.
And for that matter, well, that's something else I'd like to fix. I don't know how I'd approach that, but if someone who is nominated for the Supreme Court is accused of misbehavior, as 2 of our Supreme Court justices were, they should have to withdraw their nomination.
I guess they could be impeached. I could be wrong, but I think there is a process.
The thing is, Congress can overrule them, but when what's his name, the first one there, the black man who was accused by a black woman of sexual misconduct. Clarence, yes.
Trump, yeah.
And he was sitting there, well, this is the most racist thing I've ever heard. What's racist about it? The woman accusing you is the same color as you are. My sister-in-law told me that little African-American girls pull the racist card as often as they can. My sister-in-law is African-American, and she was a teacher, and she corrected a child for something, and the girl said, that's racist. Well, how is it racist?
Yeah.
I'm black too. And the girl smiled. Yeah, you're right, you are.
Well, that's another one they've been using too.
But that's
every
the
time
thing.
someone
he
has
said, this is the most racist thing. He never answered the charges. And yet he got approved. And I think if you get accused of something like that, even if you want the post, you should withdraw your nomination, because I respect the office too much to have this shame brought upon it.
Well, that's the whole concept, that they're to make it to that highest court in the land, just like the president, that you have respect for the establishment, all right? And apparently, I mean, there's ethics all the way up to the appellate courts, everyone, even in the White House, okay, until you get to POTUS and the Supreme Court justices. So I really think that, and the other thing too is that gets me is the insider trading. All right, they shouldn't be allowed. They always get a little advantage over everybody on tips for stocks. Okay, and they shouldn't be allowed while they're in that position to. They should divest themselves from all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, they should. And something else, members of Congress should be denied the ability to leave office and go right into becoming a
Lobbyist.
lobbyist.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
There
no,
should be a break of at least 5 years.
Yeah, 5. I don't know if it's what is it? I think in Massachusetts, just in state government, it might be 1 year. I'm trying to think 2 years. Okay. Yeah, no, because right away they've been working on things and they have that insider advantage. So, anyways, yeah, that's what's been going on with the things I've been hearing a lot. The other one too is the racist one. Everyone's says, every time someone says something, you're saying they're racist.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that racism doesn't exist anymore because we elected a black president.
Okay. Well, how about this other term? I've been hearing a lot. It's like it's so woke. This wokeism. What is all this woke? Are you woke? Are you a woke individual? What is that about, Paul? Come on.
I have no idea.
You got to help me with this.
Well, I will look it up online when I get home.
You know what I'm talking about? That term?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's all I hear a lot now is they're woke. They're woke. Well, yeah, you're not sleeping, but I kind of got a feeling of where they're coming from. All right, they're taking things to an extreme and making an issue of all these little nitpicky things. And I guess the bottom line, we shouldn't be talking politics, but the bottom line is, even the rebuttal for the State of the Union address, one party accuses the other party of taking away all their freedoms, and that same party is just trying to take away everyone's freedom. I just don't understand the hypocrisy. That's a classic example in Virginia of
that's happening everywhere. A couple of years ago, well, both my older brothers are now retired Methodist ministers, and I remember one of them.
Your brothers are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Both my older brothers.
Really?
So they. No, that's Catholicism.
Okay, all right.
We're Methodists.
All right, yeah.
Something that most Methodists don't know what it means. But at any rate, one of them was saying that a great problem that the church has is that the liberals are willing to let the conservatives be conservative, but the conservatives are not willing to let the liberals be liberal.
Yeah, okay.
And that's the same problem all over the country. Some conservatives don't like the fact that some people are wanting to choose what gender they are.
Well, that's a whole, I mean, that's, oh, man.
So they should not be allowed that. Well, the liberals have allowed it, and now the conservatives are up in arms. We have to put a stop to this. This is immoral. In spite and, try to have an argument like this with someone who is a moral coward.
I'm going to get you in trouble. Am I going to get you in trouble?
No.
Ed's supposed to be here. Ed, where are you? Okay, Ed's taking over, so if I get you in trouble, I won't.
The moral coward I have in mind, I am not naming.
Yeah, well, I don't try to name names.
I have never called him a moral coward to his face.
Yeah.
But you ask a question like, who said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you? Which essentially means if you would not want to be denied your rights under the Constitution,
Right.
under law, based on your sexual preference, why are you willing to do that to someone else? You will not get an honest answer.
Well, that's the golden rule to some degree.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it is. But who said it?
Yeah, who said it? Well,
It's the founder of their religion. But they're not going to do things that way, because if they do things that way, well, then these people who are obviously in disagreement with them are going to get to do whatever they want.
yeah. Huh?
Yeah. Now, we are about halfway through the show, and we forgot something.
The photo?
Yes.
Okay, well,
Joanne, would you please put the photo in front of us? Thank you. Now, what we have here is a failure to communicate. No. Okay. What we have here is a building which I will admit no longer exists. That building is no longer there. But we have two answers, and I will accept either one. What was this building in its last incarnation, and what was it in its first incarnation? That was torn down in the, I think it was in the 1990s.
No, that early. Huh? That late.
So, what was this building here? Give me either answer and you get your bragging rights.
Wow.
And you can get your bragging rights by calling us here at 664-4408 and make your guess. And if you're right, you get bragging rights. And of course, if you give the easy answer and someone calls in and correctly guesses the difficult answer, well, you're going to lose your, well, you won't lose your bragging rights, but there'll be two of you out there with bragging rights.
Yeah, that roof, it doesn't have much of a pitch, much of a...
No, it does not.
It's not a flat roof. It looks like it's got a little slope, but not much. Geez, that'd probably be...
Okay, would you please put us on again? I'm sorry, I forgot what we look like. Oh,
Hey, talking politics and religion, two of the worst things to talk about.
Yes.
I'm hearing all this stuff all the time, you know. I got to watch what I do until I have my surgery, so I'm watching a little more of the news shows and stuff, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's been pretty interesting. Do you watch much TV, Paul?
yes, I do, but very little news.
Very little. I went into the Berkshires and I saw the obituary of Francis Livesey, 93, passed away. He lived in one of the little schoolhouses up in Florida on Central Shaft Road. And in the old bit, it said that he never had a TV, and he was a great guy. He loved his hunting dogs, and he was outside. The outside was, you know, where he was a lot.
Now, wait a minute. He loved hunting dogs?
He
Ooh.
loved hunting with his dogs. Okay?
Oh.
Hunting with his dogs.
Oh, you had me worried there for a
Okay.
second.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
there's a good-looking dog.
Yeah, he had beagles. You know, I don't see a lot of rabbits like I used to, but he lived in the little old schoolhouse right on the corner. There is a schoolhouse right past where I am. A couple principals from Connecticut bought it when they went up for auction. They don't own it now. But I don't know if there's other. I think there was 5 or 7 in town, but pretty interesting little buildings. But he lived a simple life. I don't know many people that don't have a TV this day and age, or don't watch any TV. You know, and
Well, of course, up there, you can't get very many channels anyway.
well, I mean, everyone's got
unless you
direct
have a
TV,
dish.
yeah, a dish, and before the dish came, yeah, I used to get one channel at one house I lived in. It was a Connecticut channel, and I remember just watching the Yukon Husky girls basketball when they just started being something until they became national champs. But guys would come up to visit. What are you watching, Tim? You know, it's the only channel I got. You know, so you had the antennas. Remember the antennas that you'd have they'd rotate. You know, and you'd try to catch that signal.
We did not have rotating antennas, but spring, summer, and fall, we got 2 channels, NBC and CBS, and in the winter, we could get ABC.
Right here in North Adams.
Yes.
Yeah. There was no cable. There was no, I don't think there was back then. No. I mean, yeah, it's CBS. I'm trying to think what channel it was. You know, I like listening to the local, you know, Steve Caparizzo, the weather. You know, I get a few of the, and actually, DirecTV, I lost one of my best channels. The Super Bowl was on that one. I had a live streaming off my laptop, but channel 23. But I like the major networks, and I get the news mix. The news mix has got all the different channels, and I thought I was going to lose it. The sports mix came up the other night. I said, "What the heck?" You know, because this must be the basketball time, the championships. You know, the Big 8 or whatever they call it. But it came back, so you know that news mix has got the BBC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox. Fox is taking some big hits right now too, you know, with the Dominion lawsuit, everything coming out. You know, and I mean, I tell guys I know that watch it all the time, I said it's not news, it's entertainment most of the time.
Yeah.
Okay? And it's a terrible thing when anyone, not Fox, but anyone's knowing that they're spewing lies and gaslighting everyone, you know. So, you know, that's all coming out now, you know, and they're thinking about ratings and your stock price going down. And those are some pretty big lawsuits, you know. They're talking 1.7 billion, even Smartmatic. They only have voting machines in one county in LA, but, you know, that's a tough one with the news, with their, you know, the Constitution with the defamation and libel and those are tough to prove, but if you can show malice, it's all coming out now. They all knew what they were telling everyone. Actually, they were calling the people on their shows crazy, you know. And so now we're getting into going after news channels.
Well, you know, that puts me in mind of a show. I was never able to watch it here, but I heard of it on another show a late night show I used to watch. There was a guy in California named Wally something, and he had a show that he called The Hot Seat. He would bring someone on that he was in violent disagreement with about something. For instance, there was a man who had started a church where they believed that the way to find God is by taking hallucinogenic drugs.
Oh.
And so he'd bring this guy onto his TV show and argue with him, and then get really mad and throw him off the show.
Well, that wasn't nice.
No,
why did he bring him on? I thought he was being civil with this.
No. He just wanted to argue with them and throw them out.
Oh, okay. So he wasn't trying to get both sides of the story. I mean, I like when people aren't afraid of what someone's going to say. Okay, and I mean on some channels it's like, whoa. I mean, you got to fact check. This is the whole thing. I mean, some journalists almost lost their jobs because they were trying to tell the truth with their fact checking. And, you know, there was a time where, before the J6 time, that was a pretty crazy time for this country. And
oh, well, you know, that puts me in mind of, are you familiar with the term blood libel?
Blood libel.
Yes.
Well, I've probably heard of it.
If you were Jewish,
blood libel.
If you were Jewish, you would have heard of it. The blood libel is the accusation by Christians that Jews murder Christians to use their blood in preparing the matzos for Passover.
Oh, geez.
This started in the medieval period when it was open season on Jews year-round. And, of course, you know, the Bible says specifically they are forbidden to eat blood. You know, but that didn't matter to people who couldn't read.
What do you mean eat blood, though? Well, I mean, is it in food, you mean, or blood?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, if you go to Great Britain, one of the things you might want to try is black pudding. What's black pudding?
Like blood sausage?
Yes, exactly. Okay. But Jews are forbidden to eat blood. Oh. Well, now here's the thing. I think it was in 1910, or maybe 1909, because it was before the Titanic disaster. A boy in Kiev, 12-year-old boy, played hooky for the first and last time in his life. He disappeared and was found 3 days later in a shallow cave outside the city limits. He had been sexually molested and stabbed something on the order of 37 times. And the detective in charge of the case began being pressured from above to make it into a blood libel. And as he turned up more and more evidence that demonstrated it could not possibly be a blood libel, he was suspended without pay and forbidden to testify at the trial. And the string of public officials who knew the defendant was innocent and in fact had a really good idea of who the killer actually was, started in the police department, went up through the prosecutor's office, various branches of government, all the way up to and including Tsar Nicholas II. Yeah, and they all knew that this defendant, Mendel Belis, was innocent, but they went ahead with the trial anyway. And it was the first time in history that public opinion went against the blood libel. People all over the world were watching this trial to see what would happen. And of course, what happened was, for the very first time ever, the defendant was acquitted. One of the the prosecution's star witness was a priest named Pronatus, who testified for days on end about these horrible things that the Jews did and practiced. And the defense knew it was all nonsense, but how are they going to prove it? And especially, how are they going to prove it to the jury, which is a bunch of hicks from out in the countryside? And they were given the answer by someone who was not an attorney, but he had a great interest in law. And on his advice, they began asking Pronatus a number of questions. What does this mean? I don't know. What does that mean? I don't know. What does this mean? I don't know. Every question was, I don't know. And this is an authority on the Jews. Yeah. And then they asked them the ultimate question, who was the Baba Bathra and where did she live? Well, Baba in Russian means old woman. If you ever read any Russian folk tales...
It's like babci in Polish. Babci.
Well, yeah. In Russian folklore, the Baba Yaga is the quintessential villain. She's a witch.
Oh.
But in Hebrew, Baba means gate. And the Baba Bathra is one of the gates into the city of Jerusalem. It was like asking someone who is buried in Grant's tomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his answer was, I don't know.
I don't know.
And people started laughing among the spectators. And yeah, so all of his testimony was shot to blazes.
Wow, that was in Ukraine in 1910. Hey, did you hear about the finance minister of the military, the lady?
No.
Marie? She went out a 16-story window yesterday in Russia.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, another one. So they got to learn how to start flying over there.
Yes, indeed.
You know, it's not. So, yeah, 16 stories. That's been happening quite a bit lately over there. It's unfortunate. Yeah, that's another mess. Watching the news. You know, as a journalist, I used to have the kids watch the news. It was probably the worst thing I could have done to them. You know, it can get depressing. Mm-hmm. You know, I thought I was keeping them up on worldly issues, but.
Well, did you discuss it with them afterwards?
Well, we talked. Yeah, we talked about certain things. You know, and then there was a point where, you know, I could tell that as they got a little older, it wasn't something they wanted to be spending time doing. And I probably shouldn't have either. You know, I mean.
Well, I don't know. I think that's a great learning opportunity.
Yeah, well, I did. That's why I watched it as a journalist. I kind of like to know, and you know, I'm kind of a political junkie, so that's another ball game there. At least I thought we'd have a couple callers calling in already.
We have just over 11 minutes left, so if you're sick of hearing what we're talking about right now, give us a call, please, at 664-4408. If you have a guess, even if it's a wild guess, a shot in the dark about the picture, there we are, give us a call, 664-4408.
I like the mountains in the background. I mean, actually,
Yes.
The first picture when Joanne put it up, you could see, you know, that's kind of a giveaway too of the location. I
will give you a hint.
Okay.
Now we have 10 and a half minutes. Joanne, would you please put it in front of us again? Thank you. That's that road that you see there going through the picture. That is South Church Street. So there you have your clue. Give us a call, please. 664-4408. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Joanne.
South Church Street. Okay. Yeah.
Isn't Joanne nice?
Yeah. I haven't seen her in a month. You know, we had that.
She's nodding her head like she doesn't believe us.
She does a good job.
Yeah, she does.
You know, so hey, this is good news. Ed,
and
if you're listening,
is I didn't even teach her. Dave did.
Dave did. I haven't seen Dave in a while. Which.
Well, you'll have to come down here in the daytime.
Oh, he's here during the. Okay. But Ed, I'm excited, Ed, that I know you're going to be coming back in a couple weeks. So that would be a nice one to just.
Now, where are you having your operation?
I'm having it at a eye clinic in Latham. My doctor is in what they call Slingerland. I take the turnpike, I get on 90 and then 85 west, they say. But my operation is going to be in Latham. So I'm going to go over Petersburg Pass and then, you know, get on to 7.
We'll have to bring the camera over and do the show there.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a quick surgery.
And here we are in the operating room.
Yeah,
Tim is having his operation. Tim, no, don't look at the camera.
Matter of fact, the surgeon, he's one of the best in the country, they claim. He does some great videos of what he's doing. He's at the leading edge of things that the FDA is dealing with. It's going to be a quick surgery because they're just trying to put a few sutures in instead of, he used that analogy of my lens or your lens being a trampoline and all the sutures being the springs holding the trampoline in place. And some of my springs or sutures have detached. Okay, so
That brings to my mind an image of lying down and having a bunch of little teeny people jumping up and down on your eye.
yeah, well, it's interesting you said that because he told me that laying on my back versus sitting up, when I sit up, it puts my lens in the correct position, but they can't operate on you sitting up.
Yeah.
So and the other tricky thing is, since there's no blood vessels, the rate of infection for 6 to 8 weeks is really high. And he says, I want you to know right up front so you don't ask me after the fact, what is going on, But no, and it took me 4 weeks just to see get a retinal clearance from a retinal specialist from Springfield. They come up to Berkshire Eye in Williamstown. And then it's taken to schedule, not till March 15th. So it's not like my retina is still good. It's not a retinal detachment. They'll deal with it right away. I had 2 of those. So, and it's genetics, Paul. My mother's dealing with. She's 93, and she's been dealing with shots. My wife's actually I'm getting to see what she was dealing with when she had that stroke. She's getting steroid shots right in the eye. Okay.
Are you going to get knocked out for this?
There's going to be some sort of anesthesia, but they said that I can leave my shoes and pants on, but I got to take my shirt off. And I don't know if they're going to numb the area.
Well, they'd certainly do that, but I don't think I'd want to be awake and see that needle coming down.
Yeah, well, hey, my mother's awake and my wife is awake. They call it a surgery, but they're awake when they inject right into my mother's dealing with glaucoma.
Yeah.
Teresa was dealing with the stroke. So, basically what I'm experiencing is like putting Vaseline on a window and looking through that glass. Okay, it's just all blurry. And the only time now it's moving, I used to be now if I tip my head like this, I can see clear. The lens goes back into place. So it's pretty, I got to watch what I'm driving too. My perception's off a little. And I've been hitting things with my knee and walking into stuff in the garage and stuff. I think I'm getting by it, but.
We'll be thinking of you.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. It's things could be a lot worse, believe me. I mean, what you went through is, I hope I never have to go through that. So.
Oh, it wasn't bad.
Oh, what is it bad? You didn't move for a month, Paul.
Well, that's true,
Paul,
but
come on.
I didn't mind that.
I'm surprised you didn't atrophy, man, where you started to.
Oh, yeah.
Paul, I was really shocked to hear that because usually when you have surgery, they get you up and walking just so the clots, I guess, the blood clots.
Oh, yeah. When I first had my ostomy put in, they wanted me up and walking the day of, if possible. But what happens is you have to sit up straight first, and that hurts. So the first day of, I couldn't do it, but I could the second day. Once you're up, it's fine. Yeah. But I had fun.
Yeah, well, actually, when I had my last hip done, I was out of the Bay State. I was out of there within 24 hours, like 23 hours. And it wasn't something with a 24-hour thing. I had good insurance. I was ready to get out. They put you through they bring you into a workout room where you go downstairs, you get into a car. It's all in like a little gymnasium setup they have at Bay State. But, and I have to have I was hoping, because I just had what they call a wellness check once a year, okay? Remember we talked about now they're combining the mental with the physical aspect instead of just forgetting about the mental component and going with your physical. They're together, they're one.
Yeah.
I have to have a pre-op exam within 30 days of the surgery. So I guess I got to go back. I got another appointment at Williamstown Medical for that. So, yeah, I've been jumping through a few
Now,
hoops.
we are almost out of time. We have 3.5 minutes left. So, Joanne, would you please take the phone number off? And, well, no one called in with neither the easy answer nor the difficult answer. The last incarnation of this building, it had green siding on it, and it was an apartment house. It was down near down near Southview Cemetery. And its first incarnation, well, in fact, when I was giving cemetery walks in Southview and we were at the Brown lot, I could point out this building in the distance. And the significance of that is this was the Brown Brothers factory. The Brown Brothers invented an electric detonator that was the detonator of choice in the construction of the Hoosick Tunnel.
Wow.
And that was their factory where they made the detonators and the wire for it. It was preferred even over Mowbray's detonator. So you can put us in front again.
Yeah.
No, just forget the phone number. Thank you, dear.
Okay.
All right, so we have about 2 minutes left.
What do you got planned? What's going on? Anything exciting?
Well, this coming Tuesday, I'm going to be doing a show for the Northern Berkshire Retirees Club. And then on the first Thursday of March, we're having our March meeting at the Mary Spitzer Center at 10 a.m. If you are retired or of retirement age, whether you are male or female, you are welcome to come and see if you like the meeting. And if you do, please consider, if you do like it, please consider becoming a member. We are looking for men like us, and we're looking for women like us. Women.
There's got to be a lot more women. Women usually outlast the men.
Yeah.
That seems like it up in Florida.
So
that's how
we
it
are
is,
getting some female members now, which is very good.
Get out of the house and, weather's getting better.
We would like more.
Yeah. Winter's tough.
Now we have just about 50 seconds. So thank you for joining us here for as long as you have done. Maybe we can have you for the first show in March.
I might be able to on the 3rd, I think.
Yes,
and
all right.
I'm hoping Ed's here. Then that'll be a good one.
Absolutely.
I don't know what happened, Ed, but we're still downward. This is Canal Street, Union. We're down here, Ed.
So thank you for watching. Yes, both of you.
Both of you.
Joanne, thank you for directing. We love you very much. More every day. And we will see the both of you again in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yes.
The 3rd, I think. The 3rd
Yes,
of March.
on
Friday,
March the 3rd at 6 p.m. here on Northern Berkshire Community Television.
Happy St. Pat's coming up Monday.